everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you're calling from or coming in. Welcome back to MUFC versus everybody. I am Sean, your host, and today I wanted to start off with a bit of a news roundup. Pretty quick, nothing major, but a couple of United stories popping up in the media this morning and late last night, and want to touch upon some of the major ones. Probably something I want to start doing maybe on a daily basis. Let me know if you'd like to see that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new, like the video, and leave a comment what your thoughts are on some of the little media links we're going to talk about today. Before we get started, though, everybody wish goalkeeper Tom Heaton a happy birthday today. Good servant of the club, good leader in the dressing room, turns 38. So happy birthday, Tom Heaton. Let's dive in. So first and foremost, Ten Hag's future obviously is a topic of speculation and rumor mills. It started probably even before he managed his first match for United. There are a lot of speculation and doubts just coming from the Eredivisie for some reason. People were questioning. Simon Jordan has not had much to say positively about Ten Hag. And I think Ten Hag proved a lot of the doubters wrong last season. But obviously this season's been a bit of a rough spell. And as such, we've been linked with a lot of managers, and Ten Hag's future has been up for basically fair game for rumors. Doesn't help though. We've got one win in our last 7 matches. Not a good look, and the players just don't look very interested anymore, if I had to be honest. We've also had fewer points at this stage of the season than we did at the same stage under David Moyes, which makes it easier and easier for some people to believe the rumors. It does also make it harder and harder to defend Ten Hag. It doesn't help that he's kind of creating some of these situations, or the situations are popping up, and just by circumstance and association, Ten Hag, it doesn't make him look great. So some of his comments after the Bournemouth match, for instance, caused a bit of a stir, particularly this stuff about Garnacho, which I think has been blown way out of proportion. I think what's been more concerning is Garnacho's social media activity following those comments. I think Garnacho had liked or retweeted some posts from someone on the United stand, I think, about Ten Hag supposedly throwing him under the bus, which I don't think Ten Hag did, honestly. But then Samuel Lucker says his comment on this today. He's written in the Manchester Evening News that matter has been dealt with, and that Ten Hag has spoken to Garnacho regarding his social media activity, which I'm sure he has. I mean, we've seen that pop up in the past. It's really going to be, Ten Hag has the same standards for everybody, whether you're Cristiano Ronaldo or whether you're a youngster like Garnacho. Same standards. He holds everybody to the same standards, and all he asks is that you hold yourself to that standard. And if you run afoul of that, you will get spoken to, and how you respond to that is going to have a big impact on what happens. Rashford has been spoken to for showing up late in some off-pitch activities. Garnacho, way back in Ten Hag's first preseason, was kind of not taking training and things too seriously, and it was spoken to. And then, Ronaldo, Sancho, all these guys have had some issues, and Ten Hag has dealt with them all in the same exact way. People will look after the fact and say, well, this such and such got banned, such and such is playing. Well, if you have 2 children who are doing something they shouldn't do, they're playing in the house, for instance, and they break something, and the one is upfront about it and says, oh, I broke that, I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't have done that, I apologize, and the other child's like, no, I didn't do it at all, it was all him. Like, who's probably going to get more punished severely? It's all about how you react to it, and hopefully, Garnacho, it's not a big deal. He might get fined, he might, start the next match on the bench, who knows? Ten Hag will undoubtedly be asked about this over and over again ahead of the FA Cup match, though, because God forbid we talk about actual matches or performances. We all have to talk about the drama, because that's all we get at United these days. But we'll see. So Luckhurst has written about that a little bit today. Another non-story is this issue with Antony. Media speculation has basically tried to create a rift between Antony and Ten Hag because he didn't travel. And United have basically dismissed this as just rubbish, basically. I think the rumor originated on some account on Twitter, too, so it's not like it's coming from anywhere official. Again, just speculation that is just snowballed. And as far as the issues like that, it's not all on Ten Hag, of course. We know that a lot of what goes on behind the scenes is a result of just this complete lack of any sort of structure or standards or healthy culture at the club, which has fostered just kind of a general atmosphere of entitlement and kind of shirking responsibility and player power in some regards. Sir Jim has even stated, I think a few months ago, that it's the environment at United over the last decade that's more to blame, not necessarily the managers themselves that have come and gone. And we've seen evidence of that. And I think people are starting to now, yes, there's a loud portion of the fan base that's Ten Hag out, but I think we've also seen more and more of the fan base start to point the finger at the players because we've seen them do these same exact things under various managers, especially at this point in the season when top four looks all but lost. The players just kind of down tools and they just kind of stop trying. And it's like they're already checked out. And we've seen that. This doesn't mean talking about media speculation. We've seen it on the pitch. I think Luckhurst has also written today, several United players believe Ten Hag will be sacked and therefore are delaying making any decisions about their own futures until they know who's going to be in charge. Again, I don't know if there's really much in this one. It's too easy just to say several players believe something or other because, yeah, probability would probably state that it's likely that some players do think that. So I'm sure there are players that think that. I'm sure Sancho thinks that. I'm sure everybody else who maybe is not getting minutes under Ten Hag is probably like thinking he's going to get sacked. I'm sure you can tell some of the players who maybe have given up more on the pitch probably would think that as well. It's very likely that some players do think that. So it's a bit of a non-story, in my opinion. It's a bit of a lazy journalism, but it is what it is. We want to talk about it because it's popping up today. As far as player links are concerned, we always want to talk about some rumors and what's going on. So Graham Bailey actually links United with interest in Sporting's Victor Gyökeres. I really like Gyökeres. Remember, I mentioned a few videos ago, I did do a little bit of a scouting report on him last season when he was still at Coventry, and he was just on fire. I actually really thought that he would be someone that would be good for like Spurs or Arsenal last season, but he ended up going to Sporting, and he's setting the world on fire, and he's probably going to get a huge fee for Sporting if he does end up leaving. But we'll see. I mean, he's only been there not even a season yet. If I doubt Sporting want to sell him, and if they did, it would cost a lot of money. If anything, from the recent sales from the Portuguese league, like Benfica, have any measurement of what to expect as far as transfer fees are concerned, you're going to be looking at upwards of 70, 80 million for Gyökeres. Mirror are also linking United with interest in Ivan Toney, again, who's 28 now, pretty much nailed on to leave Brentford in the summer. I like Toney. I think he would give us something. Obviously, he's got his off-field issues with gambling and the ban, and he doesn't really look like he's slowed down. I think he would bring some experience, and he's a really good player. And he's got that release clause. I think it's between like 30 and 40 million. No, he's available for 30 to 40 million. Sorry, and I'm sure there's a lot of clubs, especially in England, who are going to be interested. Like I said the other day, I wouldn't be shocked if like Barcelona came in for him, and it doesn't mean I don't want him. It would be relatively inexpensive as far as strikers are concerned, and as far as someone of his age and profile is concerned, I think it is a good deal. I don't know if he would be happy sharing the minutes, and I don't know what that would do to Højlund. I don't generally like to go down the route of, it's going to hinder Højlund's development. Like, competition is healthy. It makes you try hard, makes you push yourself, it makes you strive to improve. I don't have a problem with competition for spaces in a starting 11. I also know sometimes the modern player can get a little upset about those kind of things, and we've seen what happens. So, one to watch. I think a deal could be done, and then maybe, could be a swap or something involved. Not that really happens, but I do think we have some players that we could easily move on and maybe drive that price down. So we'll see how it goes. In other news, Christian Falk has written that United have held concrete talks with representatives of Bayer Leverkusen wingback Jeremy Frimpong. Now, remember, Frimpong has a £34 million release clause right now. And I really like Frimpong. I mentioned in another video, I'd bring him at United. I don't think we need another right back. I think Dallo is doing just fine. I think Wan-Bissaka stick around for another season because I do think I'd like to maybe move Wan-Bissaka on. I just don't think it's a priority this summer right now. Hear me out though when it comes to Frimpong. Hear me out. I'd bring him in as a right winger. Now, I know, before you jump on it, I know I've said in another video I'm not thinking about right wingers. We spent a lot of money on wingers. We haven't had great luck with wingers. We have got Ahmad, Palestri, but he's probably going to leave. We've got Anthony. We've got Sancho potentially coming back, although Sancho could depend on whether or not Ten Hag is still here. And then I think that we just don't necessarily need a right winger. That being said, that low release clause for Frimpong, combined with the quality that he has, the talent that he has, and his age, it's a no-brainer, honestly. And he's better than everybody else we have on the right wing right now, including Garnacho. I do think that having Garnacho, Rashford, and someone like Frimpong as rotation options could really help us a lot. So to me, it's a no-brainer. It would just depend on available funds and priorities, and what kind of deals we could get. The release clause, though, I mean, you got to jump on that. I've also seen some fresh links with Jared Branthwaite today as well. Phil Thomas with The Sun has highlighted a connection between United's incoming technical director, Jason Wilcox, and Branthwaite's agent, David Reeves. So apparently the two have had a good working relationship over the years. So according to football law, that means we're getting Branthwaite, right? Nailed it. So again, it's one of those things. We saw the links with Southgate and Ashworth, and that automatically apparently meant we're getting Southgate. It is what it is. Again, it's one of those correlation is not causation kind of situations. But I do like Branthwaite. I like him a lot. I think he's got a really high ceiling. I think he suits what we need. Good physical presence, good age. We'll see. He's going to be expensive. In other news, we have some updates regarding Marcus Rashford. So it's been reported this week that PSG have dropped their interest in Marcus Rashford. Now you remember that PSG's president did confirm interest in Rashford a few years ago, so we know that they have interest. It's just been reported that they're no longer interested. No, Mbappe looks like he's leaving. PSG probably going to want another kind of quick attacker. They did bring in a lot of players. Gonzalo Ramos came in, Kolo Muani came in as well. So I think that they have depth. They got Barcola as well. So I don't know if they would need Rashford, but there are a lot of United players who would probably, pay for the plane ticket or drive Rashford to Paris themselves right now. But we'll see. For now, it looks like Rashford is sticking around. And again, if he improves and gets back to what he did last season, that's a good thing for everybody. But if he's just gonna, continue to kind of display the body language and put in the performances that we've seen, I don't know if he's got much of a future, at least in the hearts of United fans. So, another news for players: it looks like Luke Shaw has returned to training this week, and he's set to resume full training this week. Could be a boost heading in the last few games. Obviously, with Shaw, you never know how long it's going to be until he is injured again. I'm trying not to disrespect him. It's just a fact. But he's back in training. He's a leader in the dressing room. He's looked great in the last few years when he has been fit. He's just not reliable in terms of availability. So if he can stay fit for the last 6 matches, which is not a big ask, I think it would be immense. But we all know he's got to recover still this week. He's only back in training, so it's probably going to be a bit of time before we see him on the bench anytime soon. And then Ten Hag is a bit of a stickler. We've seen now with Mason Mount, he's back fit, but he's still only getting like 10 minutes as a sub here and there. And I think that there's a compromise to be had for Ten Hag when it comes to being a bit of a stickler for fitness. Like, it's okay to play a player like Mount, for instance. I think Mount should be starting right now. I think we need him, and we need to not be so just cautious with things like that. I think he could have really made a difference had he not been used as a sub, but that's just me. It also looks like youngster Shea Lacey is set to sign his first professional contract with United this week following his 17th birthday at the weekend. He does look like a promising young player, Lacey. Really good on the ball, really good attacking, kind of play anywhere in that front line. Explosive, excellent left foot, often cuts in off the right wing to get a shot off. So the future does look really bright for United. We have a lot of really good youngsters coming through. Manu, Wallace look good. Garnacho looks really good. I know Amas has been on the bench recently. Wheatley was on the bench against Bournemouth, and now Shea Lacey. And I think we've got some good youngsters coming through. And I think the next 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to see a good crop of academy products coming into the first team, and that should be exciting. It's one of the foundations United has built on is promoting youth. We have that long record of having an academy product in the starting 11, and we should take great pride in that for building and developing and making stars and not just signing stars. And so like that, I like what I see from Shea Lacey, and I would really like to see him involved before the end of the season, hopefully. Some miscellaneous things. So big up former United coach and current Ipswich Town manager Kieran McKenna. He was named manager of the season for the championship this week. Ipswich have been flying this season. They're top of the table with 3 matches to go, and they do look set for their second consecutive promotion after finishing second in League One last season. McKenna is doing really well, and obviously the rumors linking him to United have popped up over the last few weeks. Like I did say in another video, I'm not opposed to McKenna in the future, but you want to see how he does before you get too excited. But he does play good attacking football, but he's never managed in the Premier League before. He's never had to deal with those kind of things, that kind of pressure as like a manager. So we'll see how he does. If he can do well this season, avoid relegation next year and challenge, I would not be opposed to it in another, maybe 3 years, 3, 4 years. He's a young guy, so plenty of time. That's all for now. For the links, not much going on. Obviously, it's the beginning of the week. We'll see more throughout the week as the days go on. But we've got an FA Cup semifinal against Coventry to prepare for. We'll talk a little bit later on tomorrow, and I'll jump back on maybe later on today if any news stories break, any big rumors pop up, any developments. But until next time, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And don't forget to go check me out on Twitter, MUFC versus everybody. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks.